Check, check, check. Testing, testing, testing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party going. How's my chat room looking? Oh boy, hold on. There he is. Oh, the lights aren't even on. Oh boy. You know what it's like to go from watching the show to running in here, trying to get ready for this? Hello everybody, Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of blah, 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 blah. We got it, right? What's up with my lights? Hold on, let me turn these lights on. I got this lightsaber right here. Hold on. Gotta turn this puppy. How does this work here? Break something? Did I break this? We just broke our first light. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a broken light. All right, it's broken. Well, it took me a couple years to break, but here we are. Hello, folks. Teresa is here. A lot of people seem to think there's some snark happening. Flutter politely says, I think this is the best, snarkiest encounter I've seen between two contestants. Shanae is horrible. You know, Shanae is not coming off good. Call in the voicemail line 401-213-9828. By all means, call in that voicemail line 401-213-9828. Yeah, it looks like we have a little bit of a problem with Shanae here. So we'll talk about this. Cassidy and Shanae position themselves to be kind of like the bad girls club. And then we have Cassidy, who I saw. We'll talk about the Cassidy scenario, right at the end there. Cassidy mentioning, by the way, we have to make sure that we let everybody know that there is no spoiling. Although I tell you, I texted Reality Steve and I said, hey man, just curious, percentage-wise, how close are you to knowing, who wins this thing? He says it's hard to say. He says he doesn't know. So it's very interesting. He doesn't have any spoilers. I like it. It's fun. We don't know how it goes down. So anyhow, folks, we got that funk going on right there. Callisto says, Shanae is just eek. Her bringing up Elizabeth's ADHD to everyone without her permission was just frustrating. Hey, we have a new subscriber. Madeline Sullivan just subscribed. Give Madeline some love. Hello, how are you? Yeah, that's right. When we get a new subscriber, we have the alerts go off on our screen right here. Subscribers and super chats. I'm not kidding. I really did break this light here. If I don't fix this light, it kind of does this weird background thing here. You see that green screen? It's broken. All right, what can you do? Pray for Dave. Karen Murphy says 2 villains so far this season. Yeah, it appears so. Put that right down there. It appears like we have 2 villains so far. Shanae and Cassidy are both too annoying, not entertaining. Holly says they're not even entertaining annoying. AM actually has some breaking news. He says this is the most boring episode of Bachelor history. I asked the Discord, I said, hey, are you guys having fun? Because for me, to be honest, I'm taking notes. I'm doing so many things. Sometimes I don't recognize if an episode's good or bad. I'm getting all the info. It's like being at a concert and you're just trying to write down the set list. You're not hearing how it is. So I asked people, I said, are you guys having fun? And most people said it was a pretty interesting episode. So I don't know, AM, not to say that you're wrong here, but there was quite the cattiness. Veronica said Shanae was evil for what she said. I would have taken the L to bop her in the face. You should have sat on her face. That's what we do here. When someone outs your ADHD, sit on their face. Give me old stink face. That's a callback from last week. Jen says, now Dave's got to go out and get some more lights. That was the first thing I was thinking about. I was like, well, if I have this one little light down, why don't we just buy a whole bunch of new lights? I think we could do that. Buy a whole bunch of new lights. I know what the problem is with that light, too. You know what I did? I must have stepped on it accidentally. There's so many lights in this place. Hey, new super chat. Look at that. We got a super chat button. What does I say Alana? Alana donated? Thank you so much. I should make the super chat larger so we can like really see it. Should I put it like right in front of my face? I tell you what, the next super chat that comes along, the next person that donates is getting a super chat right here, okay? Right across that face. I'll show you. All right. I'll turn the sound effect up too. That way it makes a lot of noise. I want a loud sound effect next super chat we get. AB says, Shanae is truly awful. Yeah, Shanae's like, you told me you love me. She's like, I didn't say that. Shanae's like, well, Action K says, breaking news, the light is broken. That's right. You guys want to see what's broken? This switch here, I just ripped it out of the wall, won't turn. You know what I mean? Like you guys want behind the scenes info? The switch. I think I just broke it more. It was. Is it supposed to make that noise? Is a light switch supposed to sound like a rice shaker? Do we have a new musical instrument? All right. I guess that's a broken light. Oh boy, what can you do? Petra said, I'm amused by the divide between wanting romance and wanting drama. No, I hear ya. Yeah. You know, if it leads, it bleeds. Or I'm sorry, if it bleeds, it leads. And if the heart breaks, then ratings we shakes. I don't know. If the heart breaks, it'll be a rating earthquake. Hey, Tasha. If you don't mind switching the laundry in like 10 minutes, it should be good. It's just washer to dryer. That's the only... The dog just ran in. I make the dog sweet potatoes to go along with his dry food because, you know, we love the dog. And, but every time he smells the sweet potatoes in the oven, I got to remind him, like, you can't eat the food yet. You have to wait. And then he gets so upset that I'll take the food and, like, put it in his bowl but leave it out of his way. Otherwise, he'll burn his tongue and then he'll puke and all that. It's a whole issue. I can't believe I broke a light. I wonder if this light will work. So you got this light right here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this light right here. That way it hits this. I'm trying to get it to hit behind me. Got a problem. I'm turning this light on. Let's see if it makes a difference. Broke a light. Does that make any difference? Can you feel the light that's hitting me now? It kind of helped. Anyway, I can tell most of you guys don't care. I'm sure Bachelor Fantake doesn't have lighting issues the way I do. All right, 175 people in the chat. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. You got to subscribe in order to comment in the chat room. And, all right, let's get to some of your voice snails. Boone, don't bark. Can you hear the dog barking? Go to your voicemails here. Let's see what you're calling about. First one up. Oh, hold on. Where's this music coming from? Turn that music off. All right, first voicemail. You guys can call in 401-213-9828 right there. Call the voicemail line.
Hi, Dave. It's Elizabeth calling from southeastern Pennsylvania.
Hi, Elizabeth.
I had a comment on Susie's date during her dinner. I mean, I know that the whole episode was kind of lackluster on the whole romance, and we didn't really focus much on dates. But there was something that he said during her date that kind of drew my attention. So I stopped and went back and got the exact audio for it. And he said something about how that's why he likes her, the fact that she can see the good through the bad, and that's something that I struggle with. That's why I think it's important in life to find a partner, is finding someone that can guide you, because you seem like someone, you seem like you have it figured out. And I had to pause. I was like, I don't really agree with that. I was like, I'm not sure if that's exactly what he meant to say. But for me, I guess in my view, whatever relationship you choose to pursue is not one that you should pursue because that person has life figured out, and that because they have life figured out, they can guide you in your life. Or at least that doesn't seem like something that should be a motivator in your relationship. Like, that's not a reason that you should pursue that relationship. Like, because they can help guide you, and like, I don't know. I kind of have a feeling about what you're going to say about this, but I want to know what you have to say. It's something that I caught. I'm going to watch the live stream, so thanks for having it. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Bye.
Thanks, Elizabeth. So yeah, the idea that you would be attracted to somebody because they are going to motivate you to be better, or because they've got it all figured out. That's not good. That's not good at all. Thanks so much for the phone call. Let's go to our next phone call right here.
Okay, dude, I'm just gonna get to it.
Get to it.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, so like.
Hold on, we need to play this again, guys. This is the original "Oh my God" soundboard. If you heard this sound,
oh my.
Well, this
god.
is the original person, and I think she says "Oh my God" 7 times. Let's drink every time she says "Oh my God."
Okay, dude, I'm just gonna get to it. Oh my god! Or should I say, oh my god, oh my god. Okay, so like, I understand both sides of the story with Shanae and Elizabeth. Yeah, Shanae was right. Elizabeth did like say she loved her, and then just kind of started talking about her. And I understand, like, 'cause I feel like any average person is in that situation before, where you say one thing and then you like kind of forget that you say a little bit. And then you kind of just go off and you get very defensive, of course. Maybe like in high school, middle school, elementary school, I feel like just in life, any average person has been through that. And so she is right for that aspect. But to go off on someone for their mental health disorder and say ADHD, my ass, like, can she just like go away, please? Please. That's all I ask. Okay, my rant is done. I really need to go to bed after that. Thank God this episode is almost over. Hope you had a good day, Dave. Mine had just taken an interesting turn. Bye, Dave.
From the "Oh my God" queen herself. Thank you so much for the call. So many ranges of emotions go on in your voicemails. I love that. We were all over the map. Janelle Louise says, Dave, you seem tired. You should go take a nap, you content king. I got to tell you, Janelle, I hate it when people tell me this. I really do. Unless I'm driving you home, don't worry about how tired or awake I am. I'm hanging in there. It's 7:15 on the West Coast. We're going to be okay, guys. We're going to be okay. My sister just texted me. Hey, how are you? I'm good. Working on my live stream. Sorry. My sister needs to know that it's a Bachelor live stream. It's like, how do they not know my work schedule? You know what I mean? All right, let's go to the next one. Thank you so much for the phone call. Let's go to Brooklyn.
Hey, Dave. I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York. I just want to say that I really wish while the show was airing, they cut away into us getting to actually see, like, Clayton's reactions watching back scenes. Because I get so frustrated in some scenes. I'm like, no, she said this, or no, she really did this, or she really took someone else's cake. And I just wish we were able to watch him reacting to the date and things that were said that he didn't know were said because he was present at the date. That's all. Anyway, I thought this episode was really good. I very much enjoyed it. Not too many complaints. Hope you're staying safe and healthy.
Thank you so much for the call. Checking in from Brooklyn. Look, the whole like cake spiking thing, I mean, that had to be made up, right? They told the kid, knock the cake out of her hands. I mean, obviously, right? I don't even think they could. I mean, at least on Bachelor in Paradise, who's it, Mari, who spiked the cake? That was like clearly there was vengeance happening here. This cake was lost. I mean, poor Riley would have had some of that chocolate cake. You know what I mean? The voicemail line is wide open right now. Call in before I fall asleep because I'm so tired over here. Bruce says the previous caller should do OMG cameos. Yeah, just be like. Yeah, that's, you know, you know what, Bruce? I have nothing to add to your comment. That was a good comment. Ashley said you can save more sounds. I just need a producer. I don't want one, don't ask, but I really do need a producer with sound. I got like 3 sounds, you know what I mean?
You cut the crap.
I'm running out of sounds here. Franny says, hi, everyone. Haven't watched the episode yet because I'm on Pacific Standard Time, but I'm here for the spoilers. We'll be back for the West Coast live stream tonight, but it's going to be one of those, like, we're going to get in, we're going to get out, unless some crazy stuff happens. Oh, Franny says, Dave, enjoy your Diet Guarana. Yeah, Franny, what are you, the Brazilians, putting in this stuff? I mean, it's really good, don't get me wrong, but like, oh, we just got a new subscriber right there, right across the old face. Lystra Samuel. Hello, Lystra. Thank you so much for subscribing there. If you haven't subscribed yet, get on it. Yeah, this is the official Brazilian drink here. But where does it say how much caffeine is in it? Does it just come pre-soaked in cocaine leaves? Like, what's in here that's making me want to repaint the house? You know, what's in here that's making me want to write a screenplay tonight? I don't know. All right. Well, the voicemail line's open. Is this going to be one of those people don't really have much to say because it's a cliffhanger episodes? Anyone with ADHD want to call in and let me know, what is the sort of ADHD standard when it comes to deciding? I mean, it sounds kind of obvious to ask. I'm kind of baiting for voicemails here. But when it comes to outing someone else's, I think Elizabeth said mental disability, and I'm not one to label terms that I'm not familiar with. Is ADHD considered a mental disability? I know it's called like a non, it's not, it's like a, it's ADHD, hold on, ADHD mental, because we want to know what it is, but mental health disorder? I don't think you would call it a disorder. Oh, we have a new subscriber. Is that going to get annoying or what? Sandra Irene just subscribed. Good to see you, Sandra. I don't know. And apparently, an ADHD comes across differently for men and women, right? It often begins in childhood, can persist into adulthood, may contribute to low self-esteem, troubled relationships, and difficulty at school or work. Symptoms include limited attention and hyperactivity. Treatments include medication and talk therapy. What's talk therapy? What does that even mean? How about this? ADHD. Let's go here. ADHD in women. Hold on. ADHD in women. And what's the ADHD? How about in women etiquette? We want to know ADHD etiquette. Rules of conversation and etiquette. Oh, that's not it. Anyway, this is stupid. You guys just call in and let me know. Sandra goes, your sis is worried you look tired. That's so funny. Should we call her? Let's call her up real quick. Put her on the phone. See what she has to say.
Hey.
What up?
What's going on?
Nothing. I'm tired.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I don't have any kids and I get to sleep in, but I'm very tired. How are you? You're on the, by the way, I think contractually I'm supposed to tell you you're on air right now.
Oh, hey, everyone.
Yeah, say hello to the 200 people from around the globe.
Hello. Coming from Rhode Island.
We have a sister calling in from Rhode Island, an Irish twin, as the kids say.
Irish twin.
What are you doing?
I'm painfully watching a college football game, Georgia versus Alabama.
I think Georgia was down 6-9.
Yep, 6-9.
Wow.
And I'm actually not really watching it, kind of playing around with my phone.
Don't you realize you texted me during Bachelor hour? Don't you know I've got a job?
No, I don't realize that. I'm sorry.
It's not on your schedule?
No, it's really not at all.
Okay. What else is happening? Is it cold out there?
It's freezing, and tomorrow is going to be like the most coldest day ever. Boston schools have been canceled because of how cold it's going to be. So we're not in Boston, but we're in Rhode Island and preparing for that. going to be driving our kids to school tomorrow, preparing them that they're not going to be having recess outside. So just the things you have to deal with when you're in the north.
Well,
the East Coast.
Yeah, that's part of it. Cold winters. Got to defrost it. Well, it's been getting into the 50s out here, so we've been pretty chilly.
Freezing, chilly.
I think it hit about 70 today, though, so we're doing okay.
70. Yeah. Okay. You're doing okay.
Yeah, we're hanging out. Anyway, I didn't know if you had anything urgent you needed to say, but
no, nothing crazy. I'm going to Charleston next week, so I should be in maybe the 60s.
Very nice. Charleston, South Carolina. Why did you decide to go there? I mean,
actually, ironically, so we're taking our family, we're driving down April vacation to North Carolina to see Sean's parents, and then driving to South Carolina. And my friend, ironically, was like looking at this new airline, Breeze, and it's the same person that started JetBlue. Flights from Providence to Charleston are $100 round trip.
Wow.
So we ended up planning a girls' trip. So we're going
Fun.
for 3 nights, next Thursday to Sunday.
Sounds exciting. Girls' trip.
Girls' trip.
Are you going to get your manicures and you're going to get your bottomless mimosas?
Oh, maybe. Or just sleep the whole time.
Wow. Tons of fun. Well, I'll call you when I'm off the air. But
all right. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. See you. Goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Chase Chandler, my older sister of 11 and a half months older. Chase doesn't make it on the stream as too often. Mother of 4. She is. All right. Ashley says, I honeymooned in Charleston. Love this city. My sister and her husband met in Charleston, working together at, I believe, at T-Bones. I believe it was called a T-Bones, a restaurant. Hey, who knew we had so many Charleston fans out here? Anyway, I don't know what I said, Franny, but I might have said, is ADHD a disorder? Which would be so funny if I said that because it has disorder in the name. But either way, Sandra says, Chase sounds so nice. Well, she's probably happy that the kids were sleeping. I feel like her mood, as a young mother is 100% dependent on the kids' mood. Like, are the kids okay? Then I'm okay. Brianna Miles is checking in. Hello, how are you? Vela says, Dave, how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I would say today is one of my lower levels of happiness, but I operate at a very high level of authenticity, a very high level of like creative fulfillment. So I'd say today's a 7. I'd say a 9.5 is like Super Bowl winning happiness. But I'm below, pumping my Palmer level of happiness. But I would still say a 7, but I can be happy, but at the same time, I can also be like having less of a threshold for, BS, as it were. Ashley says, every parent is relieved when the kids go to sleep. Yeah, my sister will call me when the kids are sleeping or if like she's running errands by herself. Seems to be very, it's interesting. Hey, power to her. Let's go to your voicemails. We got 3 voicemails. Let's check in on you.
Hi, Dave. It's Ellen in Nova Scotia, and I just want to say, I think that you might be trying to think of the word neurodivergent when you're thinking about ADHD.
That's right.
And in women and girls, you're right. It is a different presentation oftentimes than in boys and men, and that's why most of us were not diagnosed until adulthood. And, well, I'll leave it there. I can't remember. There was something else I was going to say.
Well,
anyway, thanks, Dave.
Look at that, providing knowledge. And didn't you find that Elizabeth on the show was so good and so eloquent at explaining exactly what her problem was? She was like, Shanae, you may think I come off two-faced, but that's because I can't process multiple things at once. So I'll face all my energy into one thing and then all of it into something else. And I was like, wow, that's so nice of that's so nice of Elizabeth to know what she has, ADHD, and be able to cope with it and just say, this is the way I live. This is the way I process things. We say it's a disorder, and of course, I'm not here to argue that, but I think what you learn is whether it's ADHD or whatever you have that makes you unique, there is like a survival aspect to that. There is a part of you, like, and again, don't they say ADHD more creative? Don't they say that ADHD people are more creative? And I could be wrong. I'm just hypothesizing here. But of course, when you Google something, you're going to get the right answer. I look at whether people whose minds drift away easily, such as those with a disorder, are more likely to come up with original ideas. So you might find that creativity is generally the ability to generate something or original and unprecedented. The ideas must not only be new and surprising, but also useful and relevant. Among other things, creative comes through intense knowledge and great motivation in a particular field, be it painting, music, or power recapping. Laypersons and scientists have been fascinated by the proverbial proximity of genius and madness. According to psychologist Dean Keith Simonton from the University of California, Davis, unusual and unexpected experiences such as psychological difficulties and psychiatric stays are an important characteristic of people who create masterpieces. All I learned from that is I'm getting better at reading out loud. Two more symptoms, inattention and impulsiveness, suggest a connection between creativity and ADHD. Inattention, which occurs more frequently in those affected with the disorder, likely leads to mind wandering or the drifting of thoughts from an activity or environment. Such drifting can lead to new, useful, and creative ideas. Okay, so there's something there. And again, I feel like it's good to know, like, if you have ADHD, and I live with someone who I feel like identifies with that. You learn like what they need. Certain people need to focus differently than others. They need to do one task at a time and create enough time and space to make that task happen before they move to the next one. And there can be stress or anxiety that's involved, and obviously everyone's different, and things are presented in with their workflow in a different way. And I think what you learn over time, it's like, how do I deal with myself? What's the duct tape I'm going to use to keep this ship afloat? And then you figure that out. And then if you can pass that information on to your friends and your partner and your parents, you say, hey, listen, Thanksgiving dinner, I don't really do well when the family's talking politics and throwing turkey legs at each other, okay? So I'm just going to go sit at the kids' table. You know what I mean? And then you kind of just learn what your triggers are. That's okay. That's good. All right. Here we go.
Okay, Cassidy is an executive recruiter, I believe.
Yes.
I know that means that she goes and recruits people for a position, but do we know what it's for, like what she's recruiting for? Because if it's for reality television, then I'm pretty sure, I know I'm not the first one to say this, but like it's either super, super heavily produced or she's just a plant. I don't really know. And then Shanae is just like backpacking off of, or like just kind of riding her steam or something. I don't even know the right thing to use there, but you know what I mean. She's just kind of like feeding in on her energy, and I don't know. This season seems super, super produced, overproduced, and I like it. I don't know. I'm afraid that, like, I don't hate it. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for your time.
Thanks so much. Mwah. Good point. Cassidy may just be a plant. And that could be the case. We'll have to wait and see. We never know. When we say plants, I think it's more loose than the sinister, like, you're getting paid to be there. No. I think the idea is the producers are like, all right, listen, if you're not here to find love, that's fine. Just be fun, have fun, and then you'll be done with it. And she goes, all right, okay, we'll do that. So that could be the case. Franny, by the way, Franny, of course, is our expert over here, family therapist, psychologist. So Franny knows what she's talking about. And also, Franny is our Brazilian, what should I say? Our Brazilian pro. You're our, for anything Brazilian, we go to Franny. She's our expert. And she's of course the one who got me these guarana drinks. Tasha was making fun of me because I might have had like a coffee and one of these. So you say that this is less caffeine than a Diet Coke, but whatever it does to old Dave Neal recapper over here is another thing. But boy, you know, I had I had an edible and one of these, and I was like, all right, you guys figure it out. Are we high? Are we caffeinated? What are we? All right, anyway, let's, so Franny says it's a disorder because the brain works differently than the general population. That's why it's called a disorder. But I don't like the term disorder. You know, I don't like that either, Franny, because like, what is the general brain like anyway? God knows my brain doesn't act normal. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know what I have, but I know I've got like, I know when I'm at my peak Dave that I've got 17 tabs open and I'm just boop, 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 boop. You know what I mean? And I don't mind that. Is it exhausting to some people? Maybe.
Hey Dave, just to go off one of the previous callers who mentioned that women don't tend to be diagnosed with ADHD until later in life. I'm not sure if another caller, you know, you said your 3 voicemails are going to say this, so I am sorry if it's repetitive and you can just turn this off. But a lot of times in younger boys and men, they will present ADHD like outwardly, you know, impulsivity, kind of, you know, running around a lot, being more frantic, which can also be misdiagnosed as just kids being kids, but a little bit later in life, it starts becoming very prevalent when they're, you know, like even shaking can be a symptom of ADHD, we learned. Just things that you would see and you can kind of be like, okay, this person might have an attention deficit problem, while for girls, it's a lot more internal symptoms. We're not as hyperactive. That's the word I was looking for. We're not as hyperactive as males and adolescents when they do present with ADHD. We're more subtle, where it's more overthinking a bunch of things. Or how Elizabeth said, she looks very eloquent. She's not frantic. She's not, you know, moving around. She has an attention span, but it's processing and it's sensory and it's lights, it's conversations, it's sounds. It becomes more overwhelming internally. And a lot of times you don't really see that or know how to characterize that or explain that to a medical professional until later in life. And also later in life, women do tend to develop more hyperactive symptoms that are pretty hand in hand with what you think about when you think about ADHD. Sorry if that didn't make that much sense. I learned about this last year, so it just kind of came back to me.
No, I think it makes great sense. And the way you explain the fact that it's not that your focus, and it can be different in everyone, but it's not that your focus is all over the place. It's that your processing is different. I say this with Tasha, my fiance, is that sometimes like I'll like ask her a question and I won't hear a response, and then like 3 minutes later she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's just you know, it's like having an old computer that like, you know, it's like you have to process something and then like a minute later it gets it done. But it's one thing at a time versus sometimes you think you can have all tabs open, and everyone's different. Everyone's different. All right, let's go. We got a lot of people want to talk about this, so let's keep the conversations going.
Hi, Dave. This is Monica from Ottawa, and I'm calling in response to your question about ADHD. I am someone who has ADHD, and during school, during university, the disability office did classify ADHD as like a type of learning disability or disability in general, and it runs on a spectrum. So like everyone could have like kind of like qualities or traits of ADHD, but like it, you know, develops or shows differently in different people. So some in more than others, which would like, I guess, classify you as actually maybe having it more so, or like actually being diagnosed with it, versus just like having the traits of it, like sometimes you might procrastinate, or like sometimes, or maybe you procrastinate all the time. I don't know. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. There's different traits, but I would say like, if someone did that to me on the show, I would be really uncomfortable. I'd be like, you didn't have to do that. Like it should be someone's like own personal decision to, disclose any type of disability or any type of like, something that they have. It should be their own personal decision. So I would be kind of uncomfortable, and I was like a little uncomfortable when I saw Sinead do that. So that wasn't cool. Great show. I love it. Thanks for doing what you do. Have a great night.
In Ottawa. Thank you so much. Yeah, as Miriam said on the screen here, why is Sinead not being canceled based on her gaslighting and making fun of Elizabeth? But Brandon was not backlash from being rude to Natasha. Brandon the situation with Brandon and Natasha is very different than the situation with Shanae and Elizabeth. Brandon and Natasha, Brandon had used, in some ways, he had wasted Natasha's time. He had made it so that he was using her to keep her around so that they would keep giving each other roses until Piper came along. It's a very, very different scenario. It's really apples to oranges to compare the two. Shanae, what Shanae did to Elizabeth is bad. But it also brings into question how we deal with the neurodivergency of the Bachelorette Michelle's season. And of course, we're talking about the guy with the binder. What's his name? Ryan, right? Ryan with all the notes that he took. And everyone says, why do you need notes? He goes, that's the way I process things. And while no one made fun of him for being neurodivergent, or even they didn't quite mention, I don't think they mentioned neurodivergency on the show. It's a similar situation. But with Shanae, of course, she's actively trying to call out Elizabeth for Elizabeth explaining to her how she processes. And Elizabeth says, hey, I might look like Two-Face to you, but this is the way I am, and this is the way my brain works. Oh, yeah, does your brain do this? Did you do this, or is it ADHD? Listen, it ain't pretty. It's not a good look. Couple more calls. You guys are great.
Dave, ADHD is considered a disorder because it's neurologically atypical. It can cause problems in school, work, and relationships. Also, it presents different in everyone. Some people get hyper-focused on a task. Like, I have a friend who at work has to set a timer and it's not because he can't keep focused, it's because like he could get too hyper-focused on a task and spend hours upon hours, like on something really small. So that's where the timer comes into play. So, ADHD or attention deficit disorder presents itself in all different ways. So a lot of people don't think of it as ADHD. They could think that like they're extremely detail oriented. So, but it becomes a disorder when it affects your like different relationships, school, and your job. That's why it's a disorder. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, and then Savi says time blindness. Is that a term? Time blindness? Hey, Tasha, I'd love if you could give your input on this ADHD convo. We're talking about time blindness. Let's see if Tasha can come in here. She might be laying down. But yeah, the idea sometimes, let's go time blindness. It's not that you're necessarily blind to the passage of time, but rather that you might have difficulty prioritizing it, measuring how much time a given task will take, or forget to plan in other aspects of a task, such as driving, scraping your car, etc., that could cause delays. Interesting. Are you familiar with the term time blindness? Yeah. Can you come in here? Let's try to get Tasha in here. Let's get a super chat for Tasha. Anyone want to give a super? All right, the next super chat is going to Tasha for a cup of coffee. We're getting her off the couch. Halifax says, time blindness is the story of my life. Callisto says, time blindness is awful. It seems like time blindness is a very popular term here. We'll see if we can get Tasha in here. Time blindness. Do you find yourself continuously late no matter... Oh, this is one of my aunts. Oh, I have an aunt that's like this. She's 3 hours late everywhere. Write sticky notes or get texted by people. How often you remind yourself, no matter how often you remind yourself, write sticky notes and get texted by people. This might be something called time blindness. It's not that you're necessarily blind to the passage of time, rather you might have difficulty prioritizing it. How can you cope? I've seen that setting alarms and reminders. Oh, Tasha loves a good reminder. Paper calendars can be useful, but you have to remember to look at them, which can be one step too many. Hey, they say paper calendars are good, honey. Are you coming? Tasha loves a paper calendar. Tasha's a big paper calendar person. Here, come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest. Now you were Tasha kind of half watches the episodes here. Come on in.
I didn't watch it all.
What a cute shirt. Who are you wearing today? Hold on, let me put this here. Who is this?
Some aloe.
Oh, it's Aloe with my aloe hat. We should be influencers. All right, so yeah, just have a seat. There you go. So on the show today, Shanae, one of the bad girls, was talking to Elizabeth, and she goes, "Elizabeth, you're so two-faced."
Yeah, literally the only part of the episode that I watched was where those two girls were arguing. The one girl said, because the one girl was like accusing the other girl of being two-faced, and she said, "I'm so sorry. I really have trouble processing when there's a lot like auditory going on at once, so I didn't hear you." Yeah.
How wouldn't that be the most triggering?
It would be my worst nightmare. It would be horrible. I would come home and cry and sleep.
But that's you. No, you're good. You would come off two-faced because when you're thinking of something, you look at Tasha's thinking face. Go easy with those eyes. Whoa. But it's like you're deep in thought.
Exactly. And a lot of times for like an ADHD person or just like a neurodivergent person, a social situation like that, because it's so overwhelming, like highly stimulating, right? Coming from all directions, can induce a lot of anxiety. And yeah, it makes people sort of like retreat to their most protective state. For example, when my parents were visiting, I was having a lot of anxiety.
Tasha was like our dog. The dog usually walks in a different room when he wants to like lick his balls, and Tasha's like, "I'm gonna go in the other room, hang out."
No, but it was just like there was a lot of stimulation happening. A lot of things were different than like usual, and so I had to take a step back and sort of like get in my zone to manage.
Paper calendars, read that one.
Paper calendars are useful because of the physical action of writing things can help solidify things in your mind. 100%. So I heard you were talking about time blindness. Which,
is that a term you've heard before?
Absolutely.
Hey, new subscriber. Give thanks.
Ooh,
who is
new
that?
subscriber. Paige W. Just subscribed.
You like how obvious I've made it? Here, it's going to be right there.
But yeah, time blindness is like the reason why I set on average a half a dozen alarms every morning, or even if I don't have any like appointments or whatever till the afternoon, I have to set an alarm to remind me when to get ready, and then an alarm that's like 10-minute warning, and then an alarm that's like it's time to go, because otherwise I have no idea how long anything takes and I'll just completely forget that I was supposed to do something.
Someone had mentioned timers, like setting a timer so they can do something.
Well, I think also probably for a lot of people it goes hand in hand with like hyper focus. Like there's a reason why I don't sit down to do any creative work if I have an appointment in the afternoon, because I will get too hyper focused on that thing and forget, like you don't realize how long things are taking, and then all of a sudden it's been 6 hours. What are you looking at?
No, so we got some voicemails. Let's just listen to a few of these voicemails from people.
Hey Dave, my name's Anna. I'm calling from Palo Alto in California. I'm really quite impressed by the conversations taking place about women and ADHD. It's actually now occurring to me that I have seen these things in my mom, and I wish that these conversations took place earlier because it caused a lot of frustration. I sometimes thought she wasn't listening to me. So thank you to all the callers and for this engaging conversation that can hopefully turn into learning for everybody. Thanks so much and love your channel. Bye.
Hey, thanks so much. And as we talked to, it's women don't necessarily present in the same way men do.
Yeah, this is actually, I feel like ADHD and autism diagnosis in women is becoming a much bigger conversation, at least in my universe lately. Because they're realizing that just like everything else in the medical field, traditionally all like studies and research have always been done on men. So when they first, when ADD, it was ADD before it was ADHD, when ADD first became a thing, and then ADHD, like the behaviors that they were kind of like calling the standard for a diagnosis were all behaviors that were exhibited by young boys. Typically children are diagnosed, not adults. But women and men present differently in ADHD diagnosis, in autism diagnosis, and a lot of these like neurodivergent types.
Well, you say
traditionally,
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Well, in
It's
general,
obvious.
boys do not mask as much as girls. Masking is a thing where like girls will observe appropriate behaviors and then what's the word for like
Wait till you're home with your fiance.
no
and then
no no
lash
they like reenact.
out. Mirror.
Yeah, they'll like mirror what's appropriate behavior. So they do a lot of observing of their peers and adults and what's the right amount to speak and what's the right time to speak and what's the right time to do this. This is how to dress. This is how to behave in a way that boys traditionally don't do. I'm relating to Tasha so hard right
How
now.
about this one from Franny? I agree, Tasha. I was diagnosed with ADHD recently, and I'm in the mental health field. Well, guess what, Franny? I was diagnosed with a cavity because of all the chocolate she sent us, which, by the way, I should
So delicious. My favorite are the fruity chocolates.
Now, yeah, they're all great, Franny. But by the way, Tasha, Franny says that guarana has less caffeine than a Diet Coke.
Explain to me why you're feeling like you're having a heart attack every
Maybe
other day.
it's a placebo. I'm like, I got that Brazilian Coke. All right, a couple more voicemails here. Do you mind hanging out with us, Tasha?
Sure.
I think you're relating very well to the
Oh,
ADHD.
look, Layla has a good comment. Such a problem in medicine. Even heart attacks present significantly differently. Did you know when they were first studying like birth control, they studied it on men? They didn't even study it on women.
Oh, boy. Last thing we need is to link up our periods together.
I'm happy for the strides that we are making in medicine today, learning about the differences between women and men.
Yeah, I mean, we have a friend that's like crippled right now because she's trying to get the right doctor to talk to her about her ADHD. She feels like she's imprisoned by her lack of like being able to get anything done. It's really heartbreaking. And of course, I mean, there's studies too, trigger warning, of course, that it can lead to a very, harming the self. It can lead to a lot of different things. If you feel like you're trapped and don't have answers. Versus Elizabeth on the show was like, this is how I act. Like she sounds
like someone who's done a good job of like realizing like her modifications.
Yeah.
The way that she like gets through the day. Like I keep a paper calendar. I set 10,000 alarms a day, and I separate myself and recharge when I need to. And I try not to put my foot in my mouth too much.
There you go. Let's play this. I think this comment will mirror what you were just saying.
Hi, Dave. This is Megan from Ohio. I'm really proud of Elizabeth because she didn't talk down to Shanae that much when she was confronting her about the ADHD situation. She was just trying to kind of show her perspective and wasn't trying to cause drama. I also have ADHD, and I definitely wouldn't have had as much grace with that issue. And I definitely wouldn't have had the courage to come out and speak up to Shanae about this issue. I probably would have freaked out about it. Okay. Have a good night. Bye.
Ellie says, I find myself masking so often, and Theodora says, I think much of the behaviors are brushed off. My scattered brain was dismissed because I was blonde, LOL.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's super annoying. I think like traditionally boys are like hyperactive, and I think for a lot of women too, like they don't necessarily do as poorly in school. I think because someone else commented that women get missed as kids. And then now all of us are elder millennials, and we're finally getting the diagnosis that we should have gotten a long time ago because we did all right in school.
Last voicemail? The voicemail line's open.
Oh, wait. I wanted to comment about that.
Please go.
Well, this is maybe a new thread. Shanae was so rude in her little like
the first time you're watching the show
closet in her little, what do they call those little closet interviews? She was like, I don't know, it's ADHD, it's ADHD. All of us ADHD people are offended.
Well, that's why people were like, why isn't she going to be canceled, or maybe will she be canceled? I mean, it's what it is. It's a lack of grace. It's like Tasha.
It's just rude.
Your brain and my brain think differently. And I have to understand that you're not going to express yourself the way I am. Neither one of us is right. communication is all about learning the other person's way of expressing.
It seems like Shanae is just really immature. Like
Yes.
her goal is not actually to get along with the other girl. What's the other girl's name?
Elizabeth.
Her goal is not to resolve things with Elizabeth. Her goal is to like poke and prod at Elizabeth.
Which is why the producers picked her. Here we go. Let's go to Ellen in Nova Scotia.
Hey, it's Ellen in Nova Scotia again. Time blindness is such a problem. Oh my God, it's the story of my life. It's things are now or they're not now, and who knows how long they're going to take. No idea. So just a quick little story about that. I was in New York City with a friend who'd never been there, trying to show her as much as possible, and she could even tell it's not possible we're going to fit all these things into the amount of time that we have. And she just suddenly starts laughing her head off and says, "Oh my God, this is why you're always late. You have no idea how much time stuff takes." After that, I didn't know that time blindness was a thing until like a month ago. So it's nice to have a name for my very big disorder of time blindness.
Interesting.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you so much. Isn't this nice to hear from other people? It's almost as if we're not alone. We can all, connect with each other. Sage says, I always thought Dave had ADHD, but that was kind of a superpower, managing all those screens and digressions simultaneously. Well, it is true. I'm much better at ranting by myself than with someone else. I think most people are that way. Like, I can take myself down I can click on different tabs in my brain and reconnect it all. Whereas if I was talking to someone else, I might get lost. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, any added person would be a distraction, right? That's why like your chance of danger increases with every passenger in your car.
And maybe I do have ADHD. I don't know.
I think you might have a little ADHD.
Yeah, and like I said, I think ADHD and a lot of people, we looked up ADHD and creativity. It's like I think of a lot of crazy things. I like to bounce all over the place. It's might be exhausting to some people. Some audience members might prefer like Tasha, if you were listening to a podcast, you would want NPR voice, you would want to be taken down an auditory journey. And I'd be like, throw the fucking flag on the play. Like, I just like hearing mess. Like, I like podcasts where 3 or 4 men are yelling at each other. I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with ADHD or whatever, but
well, I think there can be like a lot of overlap between I hate the word disorders because it's not like we're broken, but just differences, neurological differences, right? I think there's a lot of overlap, and I don't think you and I are the same recipe.
Well, yeah, and I guess the thing, if you're looking at relationships, we don't really know for sure what Clayton is because he's kind of, he doesn't have to mingle with many people. Like, they all each go to see him versus the women are co-mingling and having all their issues. But, in any relationship, do you marry someone because they're the same brainwave as you? Yeah, I guess you could, but I think
you just need to be on the same page and like understanding. We used to talk about love languages, like understanding each other's love language, but not just love language, like understanding how your person is, how they prefer to exist, how they prefer to receive information.
I feel like you should do an ADHD hour on your channel.
That's not a bad idea.
Just
it might be kind of fun,
there
actually.
Time blind, some 24-hour live streams where you just all chat with each other. I feel like Tasha would like this. She's like, as an introvert, you're like connecting to people, but from the distant web. It's like, I'm all one light away. By the way, I broke my light. You see this?
How'd you do that?
I don't know. Look at this thing.
What the heck? Well, you smashed it.
Oh, yeah, I smashed it when it wouldn't open. Anyway, any other voicemails for Tasha here? Or are we done with Tasha? Do you feel like that was a productive chat, Tasha?
Yeah, I thought
that's a good
really
chat.
Nice.
What do you got? What are you working on?
Let's read some more comments.
You want to read some more comments?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It looks like I'm actually pretty far behind on the comments here. By the way, is this Shanae right here? Is that who this is? What is she wearing? Oh, that is Shanae. That was a pretty nice outfit, though, wouldn't you say?
It's Revolve.
It's Revolve. Have you tried that one on?
I have not. Well, I don't know. Maybe
you're working for Revolve tomorrow.
Oh, you got a super chat pop up.
Oh, we just got a super chat pop up. Hold on.
I can't read it.
Rach donated $5.
Wow, thank you so much, Rach.
We'll see what that says.
Layla has a really good point. One of the struggles with ADHD is chasing dopamine. 100%. It's why it takes.
It's why you bought sushi tonight.
It's why it takes 3 Adderalls to do your taxes.
Chasing dopamine. What does that even mean?
If you want to digress,
always.
saw an interesting thing recently. I think it was a TikTok, and it was someone who was saying that people with ADHD who typically have lower baseline levels of dopamine shouldn't do a high dopamine like task first thing in the morning. And I guess looking at your phone is not a task, but that was the example. He said, don't start with something that's going to give you a big reward of dopamine, because then you're going to feel low the rest of the day. So start with your low dopamine things and build up.
Like going to make a cup of coffee isn't going to give you some crazy dopamine rush.
Like just doing like a breathing exercise or meditation or doing a little journaling, like something that's not as like quick reward as scrolling through TikTok for first thing in the morning, which would be high dopamine, whereas like doing a 5-minute breathing exercise is maybe like a lower dopamine activity.
So Brianna says, can Tasha be a therapist? Would you ever like to get into that? Or would that be exhausting dealing with other people's?
No, I actually really considered that in school. I really considered.
Well, people can go find you on Instagram if they want you to be a therapist. They can just go DM Tasha right here on Instagram.
Maybe one of these days I'll go back to school.
Go follow Tasha, 61.6 all day of the week. There it is. All right, and Rach, we couldn't see when Rach's super chat popped up what the text was. This is for a Hogwarts shirt for Tasha.
What?
There you go.
Wow. Okay.
We got all the Harry Potter clothes.
And Bruce says, I don't think the world needs more podcasts of 4 men yelling at each other. Bruce, you and I are on the same page.
JC says psychology hour with Tasha.
I like
Jody
that.
says, I think Dave is good at multitasking.
A screenshot.
Sometimes, but sometimes I'll completely forget what I was doing. It happens. Teresa says, did everyone subscribe to the Dave Neal show? You know what? To be quite honest, I mean, I don't even feel like promoting it. It's too successful. It was so dang successful in its first day. Can you believe this, Tasha? Look at that, 1,600 subscribers.
So round.
What does that even mean? Hold on here. 1,600 subscribers. Let's go to the studio. Dave Neal show. I'll show you guys some behind the scenes.
1635.
Oh, we hit 1,000 views. Our impression click-through rate is astronomically high, and we have over 100 comments. So thank you guys for subscribing to the Dave Neal show. Tomorrow we'll have another video. We're going to keep this party going. We're going to try to have a video a day. So Sophia says, does Tasha have ADHD? Do you have a diagnosis?
Yes, I was diagnosed as a young adult.
Where in New York?
No, at home in Kentucky.
Yeah? What process was it like to get to that diagnosis? Were you surprised, or had you? You know,
I had been battling depression for many years and not doing excellent. I started struggling in school, in college. I got diagnosed my freshman year of college, and I went to my doctor, and I have carried a paper calendar my whole life, and I had written a full list of everything that I wanted to talk to him about. And he just laughed, and he was like, you have ADHD. he was like, you have ADHD. I think I had to fill out a worksheet or whatever. And he was like, yes, this confirms what I already knew. You have ADHD, although it was called ADD back then. And I think that me, like many other girls, I think I slipped through the cracks as a kid because I was very quiet, very well-behaved, and did well in school. And I think it wasn't until like all of my workarounds that I had set up for myself, I kind of like, was in a different situation, and like that stuff wasn't working anymore, that anybody noticed.
Your eyebrows have ADHD. They're very focused on looking nice and big looking eyebrows. Any secrets you want to bestow to the audience? I get DMs all the time. How does Tasha do her hair? I don't ask her, guys. KC says, I thought Tasha was a therapist while listening to her. So there you go, Tasha.
Thanks, Casey.
There you go. And Franny says she's down for a convo about ADHD.
100%.
Yeah, you guys got to get on that. Get on it. Bridget says her sister-in-law got diagnosed at 40. KC says, what part of Kentucky?
I am originally from Florence, Kentucky, if anyone knows it.
Yeah. Florence, y'all. No voicemails. Last chance to get a voicemail in 401-213-9828. MB says, what things do you do in order to cope with it?
MB, I've just been not doing anything for the longest time. I haven't been using medication because I was having a really hard time with anxiety the past few years, and I just needed to like take it all out. But I use my workarounds. I use alarms. I use paper calendar.
Want to read that question?
What is it? Same, Tasha, same. I did well in school until I had a complete breakdown after years of working so hard to compensate. Yeah, I think that was a big part of it for me too. I have always really struggled with like social situations, with friendships, with just being around people in general. But I mask it really well, but it's like taxing. And I think, you know, when you're doing a lot of things that drain you, you just get to the point where you are depleted and that's it. And you have to figure out how to fill your well again.
Do you think living with me is depleting? Are you depleted? Do I deplete you?
No.
What's the saying? You
complete me.
Do I deplete thee? You deplete me.
No.
A neurodivergent love story. Casey Coots is from Lexington.
Oh, wow.
Sabrina says we stand Tasha. And then Theodora says depression and burnouts are things. So happy you got diagnosed, Tasha. Yeah, and look, it's like some people said that there's a lot of conversations on TikTok happening around it. I think it's important to learn. It's almost like being a chef, right? You always want to learn the new way to do something. How do you fry this up? You know, talk to people that have workarounds. Some things might work for you. You know, and you might
yeah, we also live in a society that really values productivity. And so I think it can be like especially hard for people who don't feel like they are performing to their best standards. You know what I mean? Like you always want to be the best version of yourself. But some people, you know, when you just can't get out of your own way, which I think is a super common problem for neurodivergent people. I know I constantly feel like I can't get out of my own way. It's nice to know that you're not broken, that you have tools at your disposal to help you like be the best version of you.
You know, I've come to terms when my diet's really poor, it's very hard to focus the next day. I couldn't imagine if that's how it is every day. I run off of a couple cups of coffee and I'm very productive. That doesn't mean I don't have ADHD.
Meanwhile, if you make the coffee pot too strong for me, it's like
Tasha, come down from the ceiling. Yeah, but that's it. And I'm the same way if it's too strong, you know, but someone had mentioned you can have a pot of coffee and just go to sleep. But you know, I also created a scenario that works for me. Like I'm not, you know, I've had a hard time writing a screenplay. I have a hard time writing a full-fledged screenplay, but I can show up and make content 40 minutes at a time. And that's kind of like, maybe that's me kind of realizing what my attention span can do, but I become obsessive.
Well, it can be hard to like, some people see like, only the finish line, or they see only like a full finished product and have a really hard time seeing the steps. And then one of the ways that people like work around, right, is to concentrate only on one small step at a time. So maybe for you, you can see those small steps, but you have a harder time with the bigger picture.
Yeah, because it's easier to be like, all right, if I do X, Y, and Z, I'll be done for the day. Here, read a few comments off the screen.
Okay. Mari says, just love this conversation, not a quick thought, but a full conversation. So helpful to understand my family better. Bridget says, yes, absolutely. Lots of productivity shaming in our capitalistic culture. 100%. I actually wrote in my
keep going.
calendar/journal today, like life free from work. I just wanted to like visualize like the feeling of a life free from work, right? And all of that like the symbolism, you know, like all of that it entails. Not necessarily like a sort of anti-work, no such thing as money type thing, but like a, you know, a life free from work, a life free from like the obligation.
Yeah, what's stopping you from finding something you love and being compensated wholeheartedly for that? You know what I mean? And I think that's the goal, right? You know, for me, obviously, I work hard, but I kind of like what I do. So it's not like if I was working for someone else. Tasha's seen me enough jobs where I'm working for someone else, and I'm like, I want to literally, like, you always know when you're an employee that you're smarter than somebody. You always know, like, I'm way too smart for this. Like, I can't tell you 2 years ago, I was at a minimum wage job going, what am I even doing here? What, I can't even
Getting
believe I'm
by.
here.
Yeah.
Like, why am I even here? And it's like, well, I'm here because in Los Angeles, you work these cheap jobs because then you don't have to be taken seriously, so you can spend your time doing other things and all that because, you know, at some point it's, you know, you're trying to wait for your own thing to take off.
Ellie says socializing is severely taxing for me as well. I totally relate. I know back in the day, people used to talk a lot about social anxiety disorder, which I don't necessarily like. I think that like just saying social anxiety, like there's way, like it can be a spectrum too, right? It can be super broad. Like maybe some things about a social situation make you anxious, but mostly it's just a lot. I don't know. It's a lot. I think it has to do with, keeping a mask on for so long, or just like constantly analyzing like the things that you say and like how long a pause is and dumb stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
Layla says, always hitting the points, Tasha. Society was not designed for us. I read the nicest quote the other day. I'm sure I saved it somewhere because I know I'm going to butcher it, but it was like, wouldn't we all be artists if we had the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
It was the idea that like rich people can get into art, and it's like, well, yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, but like, can you imagine a society where people just did what they found inspiring?
Yeah, well, I can, because I try to do that, but I understand the limitations that exist there. Here's Tasha's Instagram page. Oh my gosh, where are we? Belize?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
my
was
gosh.
in San Ignacio at Cana.
Look at this place. Now, what are we looking at? What is it?
The goats.
The goats. Jungle. There we are. Now, I just wanted to show, because of course Teresa's in the chat, our friend Teresa. We stayed at 3 locations in Belize. So go follow Tasha on Instagram, Tasha Courtney, and you can see, oh my gosh, and then the Murray Sharps. The amount of bread, I gained like 30 pounds.
The bread, the fresh warm bread out of the oven with butter, salt and pepper, and Marie Sharps on it is like a dream. It needs to be that herb butter.
Well, look at Yoga Dave over here. That was probably the last time I did yoga.
Both of us are so out
It
of
was
shape.
like 90 degrees and 100% humidity. I just wanted to fly through to the, to the third part of Belize here. But anyway, there's Tasha doing her thing.
There's Itzana.
This is the second location. Oh my gosh, we had the whole place to ourselves here, folks. Seriously. Heaven on earth.
100%.
Do you find when you're on vacation, oh boy, look at that. Ugh, yeesh.
What?
I mean, I don't know. I ate a lot of bread. Do you find that when you're on vacation, your ADHD is less pressing because you don't have the to-do list?
Yeah, I mean, we still have to-do lists, right, when we're like shooting content and stuff. But I think it's a type of content it's a type of work I really enjoy. And when you're like focused on something like that you find like creatively fulfilling, right, a high dopamine thing, then it's easier to get into like your hyper focus mode and really enjoy what you're doing.
So this is where Teresa is in the comment section. This is the place we stayed at, but come on, look at this.
Look at these views.
Who's going to go there? This needs to be the Dave Neal community frat house. Teresa's like, I don't think so. Look at the view. The beach is right there. And now they have a pool. We didn't get to see the pool.
Oh, that's Secret Beach.
Oh, boy.
Just
quick
golf cart ride away.
Oh, my gosh. Who drove us home? Don't ask. All right, folks. There. Whoa, easy. Does it? Yo. Please auto-tune out my moles. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to sign off out of here, unless there's any other things you wanted to say. Everyone can go follow Tasha on Instagram, at Tasha Courtney. I mean, mine's been blown up. I commented on Claire Crowley, and it became like the pinned comment, so I'm getting all these Claire Crowley followers.
Wow.
Who would have thought?
That's really exciting.
Isn't that stupid?
What was your comment?
She posted something, and I said, I'm taking notes or whatever. It really wasn't that important. Anyway, there's my ADHD. All right. Any last comments for Tasha? Everyone, wish her well. MB says, Tasha, do you have a YouTube page? Well, I think she does. She's got a YouTube page. Let's go find it.
I'm worried that it's gonna just like disappear one day from lack of use.
Well, it's the same issue that a lot of people have. We were talking about this earlier. It's just like finding out what you love. But obviously, I think the gorgeous vlogs are the thing for you, but you know, shorts is another game too. Your shorts perform pretty decently, but you know, there's. Oh, sorry about that. But now we can actually play this because we could never play this before with the old channel, but we can actually show this. Wow. This couldn't even play on the old one. We were lucky enough to get the back seats. Boarding. Tasha flying a plane. 12:40.
You want to be my co-pilot?
I'll be your co-pilot.
Yeah. All right, sure. Let's probably like that right there.
Okay. Wow. This is so cool.
Why is Tasha flying the plane?
Excellent view.
How are you? Linen shirt Dave.
Can I take a picture of this? That's so cute.
Can I get in this? Linen shirt Dave.
All right, so we have just picked up our golf cart from Mark's Golf Cart Rentals.
Linen shirt Dave and Mrs. Linen shirt
Let
Dave.
everybody go watch the video.
And
All right, you guys got to go watch the
down
rest.
to the-
You guys got to go watch the rest on Tasha's page. It's a good one. Although, can I just play the one part? This is my favorite part. Hold on, I got to play this part. This is so much fun. This is I just love the music I chose
This
for
is
this.
Secret Beach. Which is just like a big party beach. As you can see by all the like solo cups.
I just love this music.
Two beer Tasha.
ADHD.
Oh, stole my own line.
All right, we're going out to the sand barge.
Sandbar.
Sandbar. This is my favorite part coming up. We just start dancing. Not yet. Oh, hey.
All right, you're gonna lead up to it with all the bad dance moves.
Right here. All right, we're leaving Perfect Beach. Did you have fun, Tasha?
Perfect beach, secret beach. Dave had too many drinks. Dave had too many land sharks.
The secret beach is the perfect beach. We're leaving here. You have fun?
Had a great time.
Not bad. Time to go hit the road, Jack.
You have zero rhythm, honey.
I made a good video. All right, you guys can go watch the rest. Oh, he's driving. Coconut.
Roadside coconut.
By the way, we're in Hawaii in a couple months, so if anyone's in Hawaii, let us know.
Let's do some more roadie coconuts in Hawaii.
Roadie coconuts. All right, thank you so much, Tasha.
All right, let me know if I missed any comments.
I think you're good. Let's just see. Everyone says bye, bye, bye. Belize, Teresa says Belize, Island Time, Blindness. Thank you guys. Tasha, love when you joined Dave. JC says go watch the full video on Tasha's page. Tasha is the cutest ever, says Brianna. Teresa says the only time we get to see Tipsy Tasha.
How embarrassing. You made that clip way too long.
No, it was fun. We got loaded. Oh my gosh, the drinks were so cheap. Oh, it was great.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. Was that the drunkest we got that whole trip?
Probably, yeah.
Because it was day drinking.
Yeah.
That day drinking will get ya.
Yep.
And
the sun.
we came from the other spot, whatever that place was. We had some big margaritas at that Bruce's Tavern spot. What's it called? You know what I mean?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We literally can just look here. We were just there. It was whatever, whatever this place.
Oh, the truck stop.
From the pier
Oh, the truck stop. That's right.
to the pool. All right.
All right, Tasha's gone. Anyway, living the life. Living that life.
Okay, so this place is
All
so
right,
cool.
folks. Well, I guess that's probably going to do it for us now. It's 8:15 on the West Coast. Let's see if there's any other comments or voicemails. I think we got to it all. We're going to go live for the 10 p.m. I can't guarantee it'll be that long. I'm just trying to maintain my sanity. Why isn't the episode on next week? Why isn't The Bachelor on next week? Why isn't The Bachelor on next week? Let's see what the answer is. What's going on next week? Does anyone know? They said they'll be back in 2 weeks. Anyway, I don't know. All right, folks. Well, we'll enjoy it. We're not going for another 3 months or so. January, February, March. Yeah, we're not going for a little while. We just put it up. We just put it on the schedule over there. But anyway, try not to yawn. All this talk makes me want some Brazilian chocolates. Let me get to the music here. I'm gonna play you guys out with some music, and we're gonna call it. All right, guys. You guys have been fantastic. Is next Monday night? It can't be Monday Night Football. Is it because it's the playoffs? Is it a playoff game next Monday? I guess so. Brianna says, what island? I think we're going to several islands. I don't have the details yet. I'll let you know. You guys are all fantastic, and I think these types of conversations we had are super productive, and I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of them. Thank you for being so kind to my fiance, and you guys are the best. I'll be back for the 10 p.m. West Coast, and then we'll have content all day long tomorrow. If you haven't watched it yet, you can go over to the Dave Neal Show. Where's the button for that? Dave Neal Show is right there, and you can go check out the other content that I have out there. All right, folks. You guys have been fantastic. Of course, we didn't talk too much about the X's and O's of the show tonight, but it brought up a great conversation about ADHD, and we can keep that conversation going. And you guys have been great. All right. Much love. Bye, everybody.